Good morning from Titania's realm at Sacred Space. Or is that the other way around? At Sacred Space from Titania's realm. Let me think about this. Does it even matter? Where are we in the space-time continuum on planet Earth? Oh, look at the bags under my eyes. I had a better sleep last night, but I was absolutely exhausted yesterday. Quite wrung out, so I guess I'm playing catch up. But I'm looking forward to, yes, don't look at my nose. Yes, I had a major breakout. Yes, it is awful. Yes, I'll never be a supermodel. Well, I was never in with a chance to be a supermodel anyway, being a short, fat hobbit, even as a young girl. Although I wasn't that fat when I was a young girl, but I was definitely short. So, you kind of have to laugh. All the things I missed out on, the opportunities I missed out on, not being privileged and beautiful and having normal parenting. That was the worst, of course. That is the worst curse that can happen to a woman, not having normal parenting. But never mind, we're going to let it go, let it go. I'm going to let it go so well. I'm going dancing tonight, even though it's pouring with rain. I wonder if it'll be raining at, 10 o'clock this evening when I depart for my usual Friday night jaunt, boltering. It is boltering the way I dance too. There's nothing graceful about it. But I've been doing it for 13 years, so I might as well just keep going, right? I enjoy it. Some people around me enjoy it. So there is that. Yes, grey and murky skies again. And I've opened the windows. Haven't put the aircon on because it's a little bit humid, but not too bad. I thought we'll have fresh air flowing through the windows. Fresh air is always the best, darlings. Breathe fresh air, breathe free, breathe fresh as long as you can. So I continue with my daily self-expression and putting out my videos. I'm not sure if people actually, enjoy them or get anything out of them, but I do it as much for me as I do it for you, because I go over my own videos and I analyse my own progression over the span of the last, 10 years or so, and if my writings refer to earlier times, and I'm sometimes astonished at the repeat cycles, which are astonishing, because it means I am in some kind of hell loop and nothing really has changed except the characters and the faces and the roles they've played. At other times I see a lot of evolution and progression in my spirit and my personality, my womanliness, and growing into my own potentials, and that makes me happy. So sometimes I read my own writings and I have a bit of a giggle, and sometimes I have a little bit of a cry, and sometimes I have to get off the internet and crawl back into bed because some of it is so awful, still affects me awfully, like the unrequited sadistic, non-love affairs I had. I mean, what would you call that really? Just exercises in horror. But as I said in my reading yesterday, there was a cute little memory from one of my former love interests, Flames. I don't know what you'd call that really, but that was cute, jumping into his arms because he told me to, wanting to be a teenage boy again. Sweet. That man was from Italy. He was very wild and very passionate, but very, 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 very promiscuous. So I couldn't go there. Not that there was necessarily who had any level of any real interest in making a commitment to me either, so he probably wasn't going there either. But we had fun on occasion. We had a bit of fun enjoying each other's company. So, yeah, je ne regrette rien. It all makes the mosaic of life, all the characters that we've allowed into our inner sanctum sanctorum at times, and all the characters we blew out like skyrockets in flight. No afternoon delight for you, baby. Ah, the little fantasy trickster game players, you know. It's a bit funny, isn't it? It's a bit funny. Anyway, no harm, no foul, and glad to have dodged another bullet because, look, honestly, one never knows how things end up, really. And that's what worries me. It's not how it begins. It's always lovely in the beginning. It's how it ends up. So I'm sitting here with my brokenness and my broken skin. I'm going to have to carefully hide that tonight. Look all glamorous tonight. And I can't fool anyone, not even myself, about my current existence. I'm almost 59 years old. I'm actually looking forward to turning 59. I was dreading turning 58 for some reason. Well, probably intuiting that my dog was about to fucking die a few months later. There was that. But yeah, my 58th year, my birthday, was in a weird kind of disassociated mood. Even my friend Jared and my daughter noticed it when they took me out. I wasn't really right. And it's unusual for me because normally my birthdays are a fiesta. I usually start celebrating them a week before and I keep celebrating a week after because I had many years of the most awful birthdays where, love interests or partners would break up with me on my birthday, or other kinds of sadistic shittiness that would happen. So I used to make a practice that I celebrated my birthday at least 3 days before, just to allow for the time convergences to come into sort of harmonic resonance, so that when my actual birthday came, I would be like, oh yeah, okay, I made it. This is a milestone. I've made another year. And it really is like running a marathon. Every year I'm like, I've made it to this age, I've made it to that age, because I had too many near-death experiences even in childhood. It's become almost it's a milestone each year. Like, well, I've made it around another 365 days on this planet, and what has changed, and what have I achieved, and what might I hope to aspire to next year. And it's the same old, and it just goes round and round and round, and constant revolution, evolution, convolution, and stuff and nonsense, really. You have to laugh. Anyway, Mama T is in the house, and I'm wearing my little doggy earrings today. I've been wearing the pussycats for the last 3 or 4 days. I thought, I'll wear the dogs today. It's raining cats and dogs. Actually, I could wear one cat and with the dog, and then I'd be having the doggy and the cats. But they're a different length. But I guess that wouldn't matter. But no, we'll stick with the doggy theme today. And Miss Five wanted doggies, so Miss Five has doggies. We miss my dog. We all miss my dog. Anyway, I continue with our reading. Focus, Tanya, focus. Back in the room. Here we are. Are you ready? I'm ready, I think. I am ready for many things. The time has come, the Wara said, to speak of many things, of sealing wax and cabbages and kings. I think I'm getting dementia. I'm even forgetting my favourite quotes. By the gods, that's not good, people. If I get dementia, I have to take myself out early. I am not going to language in those fucking horror-scapes called aged care facilities, high care facilities, like my mother did. It was heinous what they were put through. I actually got the facility shut down. It was that heinous. Anyway, well, I didn't get it shut down, but I laid formal complaints and demanded an independent visitor go and check it out. That's how bad it was. Very, very bad. Anyway, I'm not going to worry about getting dementia. The reason I'm getting forgetful and occasionally slur over my words is exhaustion. It's just fatigue, months of not sleeping, proper sleep. So I had a good night last night, so I'm synapsing in a far out way, and sealing wax and cabbages and kings. I'll have to Google it later. I'm missing part of that. But anyway, the time has come, and the walrus ate all the little oysters on the beach. Sweet little dancing oysters. So, metaphors for life, darling. Time slips, love pleases, peace reigns supreme is my vocal media title of the 12th of January 2000, and it should say 24, but I can't update it unless I completely copy and paste and resubmit, and they're pissing me off by not publishing my resubmitted things of things that were published before. So that's why I'm not playing their game. I'm not going to bother updating the dates until they sort out their editing issues, which may never happen. Just leave it as it is. Why am I stressing over minutiae anyway? There's more important things to worry about than whether your stories are a year out of date, right? Well, there are much more important things, but it grinds my gears because I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I know. Isn't that weird? For someone who fails so constantly and majestically, I'm actually a perfectionist. That's why I'm nuts, people, because it sends me fucking troppo when I can't get things right for myself. I'm much less harsh a critic on other people, but by the gods, if I can't have things right, it grinds my gears. It's probably why I'm single, people. You're like, what is that a photo of, Tanya? I'm about to tell you, people. Just bear with me, people. I'm getting there. Dried eucalyptus leaves for protection, because I am a natural ancestral witch, even though I don't really practice it really all that much. And it is a practice. You need to work your magic. You need to harmonize with the 10 Sephirot. You need to work your magic, live your magic, be your magic. Magic happens, babies, with the right person and the right time. Not just magic of a intimate sexual nature, but in general, like be who you are, the best version of yourself, even if you're flawed and imperfect, like my schnozzy right now. Well, I broke out in these weird fucking pimples, which happens from time to time. It's because my liver, I probably didn't have enough bile because I don't have a gallbladder, and my liver can't process too much at once. It literally, for some astonishing reason, throws all the oil out through my nose and a little bit here and here in my chin, and I look like a 15-year-old spotty teenager, and I'm not happy about that either. But it means my liver's not functioning all that great. It's probably why I'm bloody tired all the time too. So I need a liver detox, and I need to drink more water, and I need to eat better. And to do that, I need more money to buy better food. But a beautiful benefactor came yesterday to visit me. I won't name her because my benefactors don't like people to know who they are, because they like to donate to me anonymously. But she came to me and she gave me enough money, quite a lot of money, to pay for 2 months worth of my new medication I need for my bladder to calm my bladder down, which was extremely generous, and I thank you, my beautiful friend. She is my friend and benefactor. So, God's bless. So I'm just waiting now on, because I decided that I wouldn't go with the script that I chose the cheaper script. I decided against it. I don't want the side effects of dry mouth and constipation. I have enough problems as it is with dry mouth from sleep apnea. I don't need an even drier mouth, like my teeth will literally implode. So I thought about it, and I rang back my urologist reception and said I've decided if she could write a script for the more expensive medication that has less side effects, I'll trial that instead. And I was a bit anxious about the money, quite frankly. And then my beautiful friend arrived and said, here's the money to get your medication. Isn't that gorgeous? It's just gorgeous. So as much as I bitch and whine and cry, sometimes I do still cry over the fact that I never found a loving male sexual partner to be a man and man up and be with me and take me on, because, let's face it, I'm not all that freaking healthy at the best of times. Even when I was young, I was problematic. So no one wants that. No man wants that. They want you happening in a far out way. They want you working 24/7. They want you at their beck and call. They want you lying at their feet so they can stomp you in the face and in the back. No, not necessarily. There are lovely men out there, but that's been my experience, being figuratively stomped on by malfeasant fucking animals. So, and because of that, I gave up on any hope of finding a loving partner. So instead of that, I have been blessed by the gods, the angels, the multiverse, with the most beautiful friends who help me as much as they possibly can of their own free will. Like, she just arrived and handed me this money. I said, what's that for? Your medication. I didn't ask for it. Like, this is how beautiful and how loved I am, how beautifully I'm looked after. So, and I live in a constant state of anxiety about money for the last 29 years because I've had to remain single to keep myself safe. And it's torturous at times. But, then this kind of thing happens and I'm like, who am I to complain when I have such love surrounding me? And one day, even with my funny schnozzy right now, well, that will heal, darlings. I might find a beautiful man who's a beautiful soul, who's kind and decent and loving, and who would never torture or hurt me or rape me or debase me or humiliate me or degrade me, would actually date me, take me out, treat me like a queen, and, be a partner to me in every way, including, share in resources, because I don't expect a man to bloody take me on and pay for me completely, because that just wouldn't happen anyway. I'm on a disability pension, darlings. No man wants you when you're on a disability pension. So there is that. But anyway, there might be a man that says, okay, let's work it out and pool resources and share our lives together and make things work together, right? Don't know how that would happen since I'm on a disability pension. Probably have to be a man that's on a disability too. I did meet one when I got slammed by the truck, but he was a lovely man. He was very spiritual, but he was very he was a little bit domineering already in the few hours that we spent time together, and I thought, God, if he's like that now, just getting to know me, trying to lord it over me and impress me with his great, I won't make fun of him, but he said he was a professor, and he was a bit batshit crazy, people. All he had was printouts off Wikipedia of various topics on, you know, occult practices and, you know, mythology and you name. He had reams of it, and he was telling me he's a professor and give lectures, and I was trying very hard not to laugh, actually. But anyway, he was a sweet man, but he was too fucking damaged. So yes, I don't know how I'm going to find someone like me who is a bit broken like me, but has also rebuilt themselves like me and is on the same kind of even keel as me, because I can't have anyone too so damaged that they will just be a fucking drain on me, or too authoritarian that they will make me want to run screaming, right? So, here comes a kookaburra. So the answer to that is there's no one. There's no one out there for me. It's never going to happen. So calm my farm, Tanya. Calm my farm. You have to. Do you like how I went round in complete circles from, I'm going to find my true love partner. Oh no, I met one idiot and he was weird. So no, it's never going to happen. It's not very realistic, is it, people? It could happen. I'm just saying it could happen. It's just not likely. Given my recent experiences with a few people that popped up on the internet that play games, it's not going to happen. Now, here on a happy thought is a photograph of my beautiful Charlie, who was exploring me making a copper bracelet, a copper cuff, out of copper pipe. So there you go. And my comment underneath it was, this was from 2023, so a year ago. And as you can see, people, from my YouTube videos and what I write on Titania's Realm and what I write about myself on my Facebook, which gets put on Vocal Media, is I am a very 100% real, authentic woman. What you see is what you get. I'm honest about who I am as a person, and so I require a partner, if I ever meet one, who's completely real and honest about who he is as a person. I can't deal with bullshit. I can't deal with lies and deceptions and shadow puppets and cardboard cutouts and empty vessels. I just can't. I can't. I've spent my life living in truth and honour and integrity, even in my brokenness. So I just fucking can't deal with that level of stupidity. I see it as stupidity when someone comes to me and they're just inauthentic. I'm like, are you stupid? It's so transparent. People can see right through you. I call them Mr. Cellophane men, you know, like the song, Mr. Cellophane. Well, there's women out there like that too. I had friendships with cellophane people. Anyway, on a happy note, or unhappy note, I wrote this a year ago. My health has spiraled under, and I am told I will eventually die from this. I was told that by the ED doctor, by the way. And I was also thinking that myself, so he was merely validating my own thoughts about my health, my physicality at that point in time, right? So this is my response. Don't point that bone at me, as I am a warrior goddess and have outdanced Lady Death many, many times. Oh, excuse me. Oh. I also just ordered a Smith Little torch, which was something I've been wanting to assist me with my silversmithing for some time. Ironically, I just watched a video just before this morning by Nicole what is her surname? Nicole. Anyway, she's on Instagram. She's the most amazing silversmith. She does a lot of fusing work, and she's just put out a book which I'd like to buy called The New Metal Smith. She's brilliant artist, and she comes from a similar background to mine. She mentioned once on Instagram, you know, child sexual abuse history. So she's a survivor like me, and she's a bit more than a survivor than me. She's a thriver. She's a very successful silversmith and jewellery artist. Brilliant. And she put out a video this morning on how to set up and operate your little smith torch, which I watch avidly because I actually melted my hoses when some silver splashed on it when a crucible I was using, the tongs slipped. So it was my own stupid mistake. It was an accident. But because of that, I need to buy new hoses, and they won't sell me the hoses. They said it's too hard to put them on, and they're too expensive or some shite. I'm sure that's horseshit. They just want you to spend more money. But anyway, I'm still waiting to replace the torch that comes with the hoses already attached, is the moral of that story. Another $500 worth that I don't have. So I'm waiting to replace that so I can actually use my torch setup. But in the meantime, this video popped up today from this wonderful artist and wonderful woman, and I watched it, and so I'm very happy and excited, and so now I'm motivated to get my little smith torch and hoses replaced, right? So I can actually carry on with doing stuff. But at any rate, there's no pressure, because to buy the sterling silver sheet is $180 for 1 millimetre for just one tiny square, 10 centimetres by 10 centimetres. And at those prices, I can't really afford to make things anyway. I did make 3 pendants recently, but it's expensive, people. So I'm in limbo due to my level of poverty, waiting to build things up, build up my equipment, replace that torch, and build up the silver so I can carry on making things, right? It will happen. I just have to do it very, very incrementally and slowly, which is grinding my gears because I'm a perfectionist, and when I'm passionate about something, I like to throw myself into it and just create, or in a new relationship, co-create a beautiful, loving relationship, right? Because that too is an art form if it's done right. You don't have some fucker stymieing you at every turn. Anyway, look, there is love out in the world. It's available, it's out there. I've seen other people have beautiful relationships, and after 25 years of therapy, I'm hopeful that my turn is coming, that I might be reached enough sophistication and maturity and sanguinosis to allow a man into my life, and hopefully next time he'll be genuine and authentic and follow through and date me and build a life together, bit by bit, not overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. People that want these instant gratification type relationships on the internet are just insane, quite frankly. It's not how it works. I have spoken. But anyway, where was I? Oh yes, the little smith. But you see how there's a synchronicity in that 1 year ago today I was mentioning ordering the little smith torch, which I did indeed acquire, and 1 year later I'm still trapped in kind of a hell loop, still needing to replace that torch. It's still kind of a block, right? It's kind of a block, the same groove where I'm trapped and can't get off to achieve success or to move into the next progression, into the next step to my version of success. Anyway, it's just what I've observed It's just an observation on my part, but an interesting one. So 12 months from now, if I'm still stuck with that Smith little torch, I will get pissed off, because that will be 3 years of waiting. So I need to push myself off that groove, babies, somehow. That includes with my love life. I'm going to have to start actually talking to men and flirting with them more and engaging with them more and giving them a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of hope, that they shiver and shake in front of me and full testosterone activation and lust. And no, I won't do that. I don't like being inauthentic and teasing people that I'm not interested in. It's cruel, it's sadistic, and I won't play those games. So when you see me at the club, nod politely and smile and be pleasant, but then freeze you out, it's because I'm not encouraging, a man into thinking he's going to have sex with me or he's going to have something with me when I have no interest. Because it's cruel to do that. It's just a fucking game, and it's a game I won't play. And why won't I play it? Because it's been done to me as a woman many, many times, and they drop you like a hot cake and go off with your friends or acquaintances, or as was done to me at the casino many times. It's just fucking crass. And if that person that I'm alluding to here is watching my videos, fuck you. It's funny, but it's not funny. It was sick what he did. Anyway, I've got a call coming through, but I'm not going to answer it because I'm in the middle of this. Priorities, people. So, I hope that... Oh yes, we're still filming. I haven't been cut off. Okay, so I continue on. Time to face the hag and make all my dreams and aspirations come true in the twilight period, when I descend into Hades but come up triumphantly with pretty shiny, shiny things. Oh, making beautiful jewellery will take my mind off my health issues and will leave a small legacy behind me when I must eventually leave this mortal coil. Material things don't mean anything when you are facing death and you can't take them with you. But in the now, I choose life, creativity, and to make my life... Oh, dear goddess, we lost it. Hang on a sec. Oh, here we are. And to make... Why is it doing that? All right. Stupid computer. I tell you what, it is as changeable and as nonsensical and won't operate properly as a woman with PMS. I'm going to put it out there. My computer has permanent PMS. It's giving me PMS. I don't PMS anymore, darlings. That's one less thing the guys have to deal with. Oh, that used to be scary. Look, to be fair, that was a bit scary. And to make my life so beautiful each and every day that Lady Death even stands before me in awe and gifts me grace, which she has many, many times. I've had a lot of freaking grace and much longer continuance than I anticipated. Of a fair amount of time. What's fair? How long is a piece of string burning through a candle flame? Live well and prosper in all your undertakings and enjoy every moment of every day, even with a PMSing computer. The death cults are trying to take what glimmers of hope and joy away from us. Don't fall into their snare. And I hashtagged it, never let the bastards grind you down. Hammering, art, creativity, mindfulness, bliss. Love is the law, magic happens. Hold the line. When going through hell, just keep going. I've got this. Well, I would have it if I could afford to replace my equipment. It's much needed. But anyway, shit happens. As I say, it will happen at the appointed time and not before. Here's my copper bracelet I was banging away on. So, here's a lovely photo of the bow, the one and only bow, Beauregard Aarons. Bobo for short, or the bow, or bow, or bow to bow to bow. I miss you, Bobo. I miss him so much. It's an ache in my chest. But anyway, to you, my beautiful boy. All morning he's driven me mad with his fence game, pushing the ball outside the gates, then barking. Brat, lol. Yes, that was an annoying fucking game, but I even miss that now. If I could play that game with you one more time, Beauregard. Here's a photo of my Smith Little torch, complete with the rosebud attachment tip for melting sterling silver and or gold if you can afford it. So I was very excited and happy about buying that, even though technically I'm still paying it off and I can't use it because it got wrecked. So, well, the hoses got wrecked. So, yes, not happy, Jan, about that. Still not happy, but what can I do? Here's a photo of a very expensive Bessemer wok that I bought second-hand for $15 in the op shop. They don't always waste money on expensive equipment, but I wanted the best for the soldering and the melting. I wanted the best equipment I could afford, and then I fucked up, but that's okay. Shit happens. But anyway, I bought this wok to turn into an annealing pan for annealing silver. Well, you can anneal brass and copper too, but I bought it for that purpose. I've been outside in the night air smashing lava rocks to use instead of pumice. I had some left over from when I used to have a hydroponic pond for growing vegetables, but a spiteful, petty, vicious housing inspector made me get rid of it. The bastards. Don't worry, still angry about that to this day too. I have washed the lava rocks and will put them in my new second-hand wok I bought for $15 today. Good memory, eh? I remember that I'd spent $15 on it. I already removed the handle, so now I just need to buy a Lazy Susan bearing plate in Bunnings tomorrow or soon. I saved a bit of money making my own annealing pan. I'm trying to save where I can. 12th of January 2022. I have just stripped the dried eucalyptus leaves for one of my brews, protection herbs for black salt. I already made some a few weeks ago, but it's always good to have herbs ready on standby. It's been quite meditative doing this task under the shade of the frangipani tree and the other tree that gets yellow pendulous flowers. I don't know its name, that's why I described it rather than named it. Charlie went outside the fence to nibble on dirt and grass that the scrub turkey had just kicked up. I panicked momentarily as the turkey was only 2 meters away, and I feared he might try to attack Charlie. But he just paused, acknowledged Charlie, and continued kicking back the newly mown grass without a care in the world, and exhibited no signs of aggression to my much smaller but dangerously intrepid rainbow lorikeet. Relief poured through me, but then I know that Charlie holds her own in any company, and even so, I was relieved that our resident wild turkey bird does not have a mean spirit, although he often follows us on our walk around the block and will peck at my heels. Strange bird, but lovely. He stopped doing that, so it must only happen in breeding season that he gets all aggressive and pecks at our heels. I'm soaked in a feeling of peace and love this morning. Oh, but there is also an underlying anticipation, an almost stoic holding together of my meridians, holding breath. It ran through my mind. Someone is sending energy to me, demands attention. But who? This telepathy can be a bit confusing. If you want to make contact in 3D reality, there is email, texts, mobile phones, instant gratification. If I don't think you are a scammer or a stalker, I may answer you. So don't answer strange numbers, people. I've had too many scammers, so if I see an unknown number, I just reject it out of hand and hope that whoever's trying to contact me uses common sense and leaves a message, right? But then I discovered recently that if they leave a voice-to-text message, it doesn't come through, so I don't get the message. So if I'm expecting a phone call from, some doctors or specialists or lawyers or something like that, then I will answer an unknown number. But I have to be kind of aware that I may be likely to hear from someone. Otherwise you will never ever get through to me. You'll have to resort to telepathy, darlings. And believe it or not, I do pick up those messages too. If you're seriously needing to get hold of me and your intention is honourable and you have a clear connection to me. Sometimes I've rung my friend Lynn and she's picked up the phone and I went, "What do you want? You've been sending telepathy out to me for hours." She'd be like, I've been thinking about you all day. I was like, yes, and I've been busy and I can't take it anymore. What's going on? And we just laugh because we have that much of a telepathic bond now after 35 years of friendship. But this felt different, like someone from far away. Jasmine came to mind. Jasmine is my younger daughter who's estranged to me. But she has not contacted me in years, and I don't know how to contact her. Which I don't have her phone number. I don't know. I know she's in Sydney, but I don't know where in Sydney she is. I can't locate her. My elder daughter refuses to give me her details. I don't have my ex-husband's phone number anymore to ask him, and so I just live in this fucking limbo of like occasionally pick up telepathic things and think, is that you, Jasmine? Anyway, very rarely do I get that from her, but I have a feeling at that point in time it was her, and it was only a feeling. I could be off, could be someone else, completely different, but I'm usually fairly close when I get that intense telepathy with people. A wistful ache drenched through my body, accompanied with the leaching of grief and bitterness, which would have been my grief and bitterness, that the only way I can have contact with my kid is via telepathy, and it goes nowhere because I can't follow up by picking up the phone going, are you sending me energy? Are you wanting connection? What's going on, Jasmine, out breath. Jasmine. But then my pragmatic, earthy mind kicked back in. My younger daughter doesn't give a fuck about me, only exhibited hatred and dishonour towards me in her young adult life. Nothing changes if nothing changes, and I have no time or heart left for psychopaths, sociopaths, narcopaths. Even one I grew inside my own body and raised alone. I was listening to a video about near-death experiences, and they reminded me that love is our only true wealth, true essence and all we take with us in our ultimate end. I ask myself, what would love do? I had to chuckle. Love what was, what is, what always shall be. Love what never shall be again. Love what you created. Love what you released out into the world. Rage against the machine that turned beautiful souls into hateful, ugly composites of barely scraped together humanity and ushered zombies into our world. Transhumanist, anti-humanist, anti-life, anti-love, antithesis of all that is life-affirming, loving, creative, and ennobling. Then let shit go. Dave came to mind also. All the lovers that were drawn to my light and my courage and my strange beauty, gifted by the gods and by complex trauma. Men who thought they could toy with me, destroy me, and then play the victim when Mama T exacted fury on their worthless, luckless, soulless, destructive little heads. I have to laugh. The last message I sent him, I told him I will see him in hell. Fine words, words that carve and scarify me, scarify me and him, actually. It's a cut that goes both ways. But instead of seeing him in actual hell, I saw him on the 13th opposite the entrance to the cemetery, which is a kind of kismet when you think about it, because, it was a zombie dead love that went nowhere, and so the zombie can only follow me outside cemeteries. Hell loops. Hell is in hello, darling. You have to laugh. It is kind of funny in a very dark, gothic way. But the Tanya knows the only hell is the one I lived in on this earth for almost 57 years. Now almost 59. I wonder what the next 3 months are going to be like. 3 months leading up to my 59th birthday. I feel excited. I feel big changes coming. I feel a gorgeous, delightful man that honours and respects me is coming. Maybe not in the next 3 months, but soon enough to rock my world, babies. The only hell, and I mean rock my world in a positive, loving way, not rock my world and sink my fucking ship, because been there, done that, got too many t-shirts. The only hell is loving people who bore me no love, no courtesy, no respect, who soiled, despoiled, dishonoured me, who rejected me because their stupid, ugly, evil friends told them to, like my ex Courtney, David Davidson, and even my ex-husband, laughing my ass off. Men so weak and perverted and evil, they tried to kill me. For what? Because I was smarter than them? More loving? More aware? More in touch with someone, capital S, or something, capital S, they had not yet evolved enough to comprehend? Because I had already almost died so many times during childhood that I was marked, chosen, and deliberately programmed by the gods, or God, or some energy that loved me so much they sustained my existence on this planet in spite of the lack of safety, sanity, loving partners, or family. Because I was built to be strong, and even in my most weakened, close to death states, I was able to summon forces from the bowels of the earth, and from the dimensions, bowels of the earth, and I had to burp. Synchronous, isn't it, darlings? Anyway, sorry, I just had to go there. And from the dimensions that reach beyond our planet, and fight an ignoble hospital team and our fucked up society in general. Where did I get the chutzpah to dare to survive, and whilst surviving, to still hold space and capacity to fight for others who might experience the same ghastly cruelties and vagaries? Is it good or is it bad? The supernatural determination to live out my days in joy, success, good health, and so much love that all the shades shimmy away like the mirage on a delusional hellscape somewhere. Only I was not delusional, and those illusory, desultory manifestations of perversion and vicious attacks were very real. But shh, let shits go. What would love do? Smile, make art, make jewellery, make love when I can stomach someone again to enter into my most sacred space and unshackle my life force. Make a cup of tea. Make my life so miraculously, mindfully awesome that little whispers on the breeze that call to me are just that. Memories and solipsisms of heartache that melt into the ether with time, and constructs of human desire, a mother and a lover. Two things I failed at constantly. But yesterday I went to my 92-year-old friend's birthday. That's Elsa. She delighted in my company. I asked her whimsically, oh, so shit, it was her birthday yesterday, I completely forgot. Wow. I asked her whimsically, already knowing her answer, how does it feel to be 92? She replied, I am 92, blah, 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 with a wince of chagrin and a cheeky grin. I laughed uproariously. The ancient ones know that we are all just marking time. The years roll effortlessly into one, like the Ouroboros, choking on our tails and beginning again, over and over again, and ultimately we are just a long shadow on this earth, a story that passes and is quickly forgotten. It is the forgetting that we fear. Worse than that, it is knowing how little we were loved, or seen, or recognized, how quickly we are displaced by the sands of time. But I leave behind me my little vignettes, my memories and my emotions, wrapped up as gifts for those who wished to witness them. I reminded my elderly friend that she was indeed blessed. She still can chew her food and drink and has loving family and friends. She still has breath and heart. I reminded her that 92 is a great age and more years than were allotted my own parents, although they came pretty close at 83 and 89. That watching my mother not be able to eat was a supreme agony for me, as eating had been such a grand passion for her. But I was projecting my own pain, and in truth, my friend is right. 92. Blah, blah, blah. But she was happy I celebrated her birthday with her, and I was happy to be there with her, with my own innate, almost 57-year-old blahs. I just debriefed with my psychiatrist. I told him I had been hypomanic since about the 21st of December last year, pushing myself to create constantly with a driven edge and a furnace in my gut, accompanied by anxiety and a weird type of euphoria, but realizing that I am merely chasing my own tail as I cannot achieve the things I want to achieve at this late stage of my life. Today I felt really ill and have had to lie down. He responded that I am cyclothymic, that it occurs every 3 months with me, and he recognises it well as a feature of my PTSD, or my CPTSD. He knows I am very cyclic. He says I usually settle back down after the inevitable crash. He is right. I have worn myself out energetically to a frazzle. My body needs a rest. He said he has been pleased to observe that I have been quite self-nurturing during this COVID pandemic. I said that I have had no choice but to nurture myself and keep myself busy and self-isolated, and that, in a way, COVID has been a gift, as it took me out of that toxic, sabotaging dance scene and made me find newer, more soul-satisfying ways to expend my energy. I do miss dancing though. Maybe when this is all over, I will find another space to dance where I am treated with kindness and respect. Time will tell. Meanwhile, the dance of life continues. And so it is. Thank you to Brooklyn Standard for treating me with kindness and respect. Just want to show you my Soylent Green, or in this case grey, neighbourhood. Grey, 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 fucking grey. Well, that's almost a, very dark charcoal grey. And then the grey skies, grey skies, grey skies, grey, 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 grey bitumen. My greying hair, which I'm slowly allowing to turn grey because it costs a lot to maintain this foiling and blonde, and I like the blonde, I do, but I'm resigned to eventually going completely grey now. But grey is not my favourite colour, people. It's not a colour I ever willingly choose. I will not wear grey clothing, for example, or khaki, or beige. Will not. Sometimes there'll be bits of beige. I've got a t-shirt I wear that's got bits of beige that was gifted to me, because even that I wouldn't have bought. There was too much beige in it. But you will see me wearing that because it's also got pink flowers, but don't like beige. I really don't like grey. And here I am in my grey neighbourhood, surrounded by grey skies, and the psychedelic dreamer, that is me, that is my spirit, my ever-swirling brain, always dreaming in technicolor at night, cannot abide being immersed in greyness. It kills my soul. I can feel my soul leaving my body just talking about it. It's probably why I'm a little bit moderately depressed today. Like, for fuck's sake, I'm so sensitive to colour, always have been. But anyway, here we go. My friend, who is a brilliant musician and plays for the Hip Shooter, I mean, not close friends, but I've supported his band in my day, danced for his band a few times, enjoyed his music. He's a blues and jazz musician, and a brilliant artist, very talented man. Posted a photo of this yacht that says "Zombies Can't Swim," and I thought that was delightful, since I'm a former zombie, right? Brought back to life by my own sheer will and determination. So I wrote, this was in 2021, people, I wrote, yeah, they can. I was always an excellent swimmer, even when I was a zombie. But I blew life back into myself, and now I am back, living my psychedelic dream in the seamless seam, and reviewing the situation, and reclaiming my personhood and my beauty and my creativity. Bliss. And yes, Billy Williams is a brilliant artist, and he posted on his Facebook some years ago, around about that time period actually, photos of his beautiful inlay work, because he inlays his own guitars and other art pieces, and he inspired me to have a crack at doing some inlay as well myself, which I was very excited about. And I'm not as good an artist as he is. I don't have his skills and aptitude, but you know, I made a few lovely things that I'm happy about. And everything takes practice, you know, practice, and you develop skills and aptitude. So I mustn't be too hard on myself. But I'm just in awe of my artist and musician friends. It's something I greatly admire. It's why I dance wildly for them and help, you know, participate and add to the culture and the scene, because I love it. I love it so much. And I love dancing, and I love reveling, and I love triumphantly reclaiming my life, and I love being a fleshed out zombie, and I love it when I help G up the crowd and everyone joins me in the wild dance, especially my friend Alex, who moshes beside me so beautifully with his long blonde hair, and his hair's longer than mine, people, so it's very, very beautiful when we're flipping our hair around side by side. And yeah, it adds to the entertainment and the joy and the excitement and the vibe. The vibe is the word I'm looking for. It adds to the vibe. Find your vibe, find your tribe, people, and never let the music die inside of you, and always dance, create, play your music if you know how to play music, and sing if you can sing, although I'm embarrassed by my videos where I've actually sung. Like when I had the COVID and I was making those quirky videos, I was intuitive. I had a feeling I was already being tweaked by a trickster, but that's okay. I made those singing videos that I'm now a little bit embarrassed by, but I've left them up there because they're a bit funny, innit? Even I'm like, Jesus, Tanya, what were you thinking singing to Metallica? But it was one of my little fuck yous, not in a malevolent, angry way with that person, because I wasn't angry with him at that point in time, but it's just letting people know I'm well aware when I'm being played for a dick. So if you're going to play me for a dick, I'll just out-dick you by making an even more gigantic fool of myself by singing on YouTube videos and letting you all know that I know I've been played. And it's a gift that keeps giving. The sword of Damocles, it cuts both ways, people. But I'm standing on my own integrity. How about you? Anyway, you have to laugh, people. 12th of January 2020. Lynn and I, and yeah, COVID had a very weird effect on me. I was angry. I was so fiercely angry for 2 days as it was leaving me, as I was actually getting over the worst. I had this fury, if I was in America, it would have been dangerous because they carry guns there, right? This fury, it was supernatural. I mean, I get angry about extreme injustices, and there's usually a reason. If you see me ever angry out in the scene, there's something really fucking bad has happened, and I'm going into warrior goddess mode to protect someone or to, tamp something down very quickly. But this fury that came over me when the COVID was leaving me on day 8 and 9 was astonishing. I even said to myself, you are not going anywhere, girlfriend. Well, anyway, I hadn't produced a negative rat test anyway, but I was actually glad to be home, tucked up in my bed because of the fury. I was absolutely livid. So some of those weird videos at that time were part of that effect from the actual COVID. Affected me really oddly. So, but anyway, it soon dissipated. It took a few weeks to leave me, actually, the weakness, the malaise and the weakness. But I feel better now. I mean, it was by about the end of November, I was feeling quite good, picking up again. So anyway, life goes on, people. That's the moral of that story. Life goes on. Here I post some lovely photos of myself and my beautiful friend Lynn. She suggested we went to Wellington Point, which is where I have scattered the ashes of my family members. My father, my mother and my stepfather are all together there. And so I very rarely go there because for me now it's a sadness and a rancor. But we went there 12th of January 2020. Lynn and I at Wellington Point on Thursday the 9th of January 2020. It was lovely by the sea, even with the ghouls from my family of origin deposited as ashes there. I felt nothing about my former attachments to them. Feeling nothing is actually a good thing, people. Like, to not even feel grief or anger or bitterness or disappointment. When you reach the point where you're just detached, that's when you've kind of healed, people. Next time I go, I might even take Bobo for a walk around King Island again. Something I've been unable to do since I placed my father David there in April 2017. The old bastard ghosts have finally lost their grip on me. Woohoo! It took 54 years to get free of them at last. And here's a photo of Beauregard and Penny on my bed, and I've titled it, Mum, Cuddles. And here you see them. Try and work this. Left-handed? No, it won't let me. Come on. Let me just try and scroll it down a bit. Okay, weird. There's Penny looking a bit a bit cross. Now it won't. Now, isn't that weird that I can't do it with my left finger, but I can do it with my right? What's different? Nothing different. It's not working. Aha. Right, worked it out. I've worked it out, people. It's about pressing here. Ah, yes, it's working now. Hallelujah. But doesn't she look cranky? She's looking a bit cranky. You kind of have to laugh. Anyway, that's my beautiful girl. Both of them in Valhalla now. Kali, the goddess Kali, has been coming up in my feed a lot lately. A reminder to honour my divine feminine and take no crap from users, abusers, usurpers, liars, fawners, and other superficial friends. And here she is. Kali is a 3,000-year-old goddess we need today. Metaphorically cutting off all the heads of all the awful men that treated us badly, right? But only metaphorically. So I don't incite violence, people. That would not be nice. But sometimes you have no choice if that's what you have to do to survive. Just saying. 11:11 a.m. Make a wish. So here I posted a meme by Mark Twain. I love Mark Twain. Sometimes I wonder whether the world is being run by smart people who are putting us on, or by imbeciles who really mean it. Sometimes I wonder that too. 12th of January 2019. I have a massive craving for KFC with only $10 to my name. Wow. On a positive note, my gallstones will probably be grateful for not being saturated in oil and other toxins I so love to poison my hobbit body with. Comfort food is nice when I can get it though. I am out of chocolate too. That's a crisis when I'm out of chocolate, people. I will just have to breathe and eat healthy for 3 more days. Arg! I have had a lovely day with Charlie and Beauregard, lying in my hammock. Life is good, in spite of my weird food cravings gnawing at me like hands reaching through perspex. Later I wrote, I need to save the money to get my tattoo recoloured. Yes, I am that proud of it. It's fading fast due to the Queensland sun and my nifty white blood cells breaking down the ink. 2:46 a.m. Home from a good night out. I danced with Karen and Adam, Peter and Bettina and Morris. Now my tootsies hurt, but it was worth it. 12th of January 2017. I just had a cold shower to wash off the summer sweat. Second shower today. Oh look, I complained about the grey and there's a little tiny bit of peeping out of blue skies. That's nice. He loved his bath as it was so hot today. He resented the brushing, but he had started to grow dreadlocks, so it was time for a good brushing out. Now he looks rather handsome for a scruffy dog. I also changed the water in the better bowls. Much needed water change too. I have almost done all the washing also. Now to sit back, drip dry, and enjoy the beautiful moon. Terrible tooth pain again. I had to take strong painkillers again. 10:26 a.m. A lovely hot morning. My ear feels better. Must have caught a chill in it from the fan blowing on me. Still feeling tired, but lying in my hammock soaking up some morning sun. I might rest some more as I still feel weak. The heat wave drains everyone. 11:24 p.m. Found some dark chocolate. So made microwave fudge with sweetened condensed milk. Munchies. And I tell you, it's a crisis when I run out of chocolate. That's my only real addiction, is to chocolate, people. And so that dark chocolate would have been cooking chocolate that I would have found at the back of my cupboard, and I would have resorted to it in sheer desperation. So it's not good when I run out of chocolate. Not good at all. 12th of January 2016. Stories from my childhood. So yes, trigger warnings. Anything related to my childhood, or 30s or 40s or even early 50s, comes with a trigger. My entire life comes with a trigger warning. But yeah, go and have a cup of tea or switch me off if you're not in the mood. And I continue. Case. It's spelt C-E-E-S, but pronounced case, as in suitcase or legal case or nutcase. His name was Cornelis van der Greft. He was a survivor of Mittelbau-Dora, but he was also a predator, a sexual predator. He loved women. He loved a little girl. I was that little girl. To be fair, he didn't actually, rape me, or there was no touching of me with his penis, but he would constantly harass me sexually, and at one point he would push me over on the floor so that my skirt would flip up, and he'd see my little pristine little white knickers, and he'd get some kind of sexual satisfaction even from that. I mean, he was building up to something. He really was. It was disgusting. And so one time in our apartment, when we migrated over here so Mum could live with him, well, I had to live with him too, didn't I? And he was being particularly creepy, so I threatened to tell my father, and he actually hit me across the face so hard that I flew into the opposing wall and slammed into the wall and slid down the wall. And I just looked at him like, if looks could kill, he would have died then and there, I tell you. But so that was my entire childhood with that man. He was a sexual predator, even though he didn't technically molest me. The threats were constant. At 15, he threatened to rape me, so I actually pushed him down the stairs, and he actually did fall backwards a few steps down. Actually looked at me, went a bit white. My mother was actually, that happened when we were in his house in Island Bay in Wellington. We were back living in New Zealand at that time, and Mum was actually on holiday here visiting her friends Graham and Nanette. So he said to me, "Oh, while your mother's not here, I can do whatever I want to you now." That was his mentality. It was evil and it was sick. But he didn't actually rape me because I pushed him down the stairs, and I swear to God, if he had raped me, I would have murdered him at 15 years of age. Because I was just done with living like that, constantly under threat. So it's probably no accident that, when my own sexuality began to blossom, my hormones kicked in round about midway through my 16th year. I started to actually notice men and boys and actually desire them, because I had no inclinations before then, given my background especially. It's not really an accident that I fell in love with and married my first boyfriend. I met him when I was just a few months past 17. There's no accident that happened. I was looking to escape my family monsters, and you can't exactly blame me, right? It was that or suicide, people. It really was that choice. Tanya's choice. Choose life. Choose creating a family of your own with someone. Choose what I hoped would be a lifetime of happiness and safety and peace. Well, failed miserably at that too. Or death. And, well, here we are, still telling the story. So although it was a bad choice, maybe it was a right choice because I'm alive to tell the story. I continue with the story. He loved a little girl. I was that little girl. He had been married for many years to a Greek woman, but they had never had children. He was a womanizer par excellence. He met my mother and me on a cruise coming back from Europe, well, from Germany, but we boarded ship at Southampton in England. He set about trying to woo her and me. I was unimpressed, worldly wise at 8 years of age. I had already been sexually abused by my godfather for the previous 2 years. I had had respite from sexual predators while in Germany for 6 months with my mother, older sister, her husband, and their toddler. I was disinclined to go through any of that shit ever again. But men, being men, and pedophiles, being pedophiles, seducing the adults around them and grooming their children, he eventually seduced my mother. She was so easy to seduce. A perfect, classic narcissist. He was a narcissist too. My mother got deathly ill on the lower decks of the ship. We travelled C-class, 3 floors below sea level, no air conditioning, and our tiny cabin was stifling. She had a serious bout of asthma, so serious I saw her turn blue and thrash on the tiny cot. The 23-year-old steward, whom I had a puppy love crush on, stood at our doorway. "Doctor," I said, "get the doctor." He feigned ignorance, kept shrugging, pretending to speak no English. He shrugged his shoulders nonchalantly. I grew angry, fearing my mother would die. Would I know now that I should have known then? I should have just let the bitch die too. But better the devil you know than the devil you don't know was a famous truism in our family. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, babies. Anyway, I ran at him. "Get the doctor," I yelled. "Don't you dare come back without one." I kicked at him with my foot, missing him by inches. I will always regret not actually kicking him. He ran away. Minutes that seemed like eternity passed. I wrung my hands, not sure what else to do. I turned to run to find another crew member, hopefully one who understood doctor, surely an international word on a cruise ship. The Alanese, fuck you. The handsome but useless steward was back, with a white face and a doctor. I glared at them both. My mother is dying with an asthma attack. The doctor rushed her to the ship's clinic. She remained there for 2 weeks of the voyage. That was the end of the cruise for her. I stayed on my own in the cabin. Peace at last. The steward made vague attempts to check on me, but I would not have it. I had been molested on the Fair Star by a cabin steward just before my 8th birthday on our trip over to Europe. Well, He had attempted to molest me, but I rolled over in bed in the single cots they have on ships, kept my legs tightly together and moaned loudly as if disturbed in my sleep, kind of more of a grunt than a moan. He got scared and backed off, but not until he had made his nightly visits on several occasions. At first he just looked at me as I slept, and I was barely aware of his presence. Another filthy creep. My mother invited him to my 8th birthday party. He gave me a blue fluffy gonk. Still remember that toy? I was a polite little girl, so I just rolled my eyes and said, "Thank you." Several Dutch women, fellow passengers, who had been invited to my birthday. I watched them study me carefully. Perhaps they knew trauma when they saw it, or they were mystified by my beauty. No, I think they were studying me because they fucking knew. And no adult in my life ever did anything to protect me, except Mrs. Robinson tried to protect me, but no other adult tried or made any effort. It was disgusting how I was treated as a little girl by people who knew better and should have gone into protector mode. Disgusting it was. I was eminently cursed to be a truly beautiful child. Anyway, while my mother was hospitalised, and bear in mind, child sexual abuse doesn't just happen to beautiful children. It's not about beauty that they're drawn to. It's their perversion and their attraction to your prepubescent little body. It's evil is what it is. So I always thought it's because I was pretty. No, it wouldn't have mattered what I looked like. It was just simply that I was there and deemed to be vulnerable and available. As they would have known, my mother was dancing every night in the nightclub, leaving me alone and unprotected, right? So that was the availability, the opportunity for them to predate on me. The dirty bastards. I should have sued both those oceanic cruise lines, by the way. I should, still to this day, should sue the fucking asses off them. But after all these decades, I mean, how would you prove it? How can you prove it? Probably those men by now are long dead anyway, but it was evil what went on those ships. Really evil. Probably still goes on, by the way. So if you go on a cruise line with your sweet little children, guard them with your life, day and night. Anyway, while my mother was hospitalised on the Alanis, I had free rein of the ship. Sailors waited for me in the narrow corridors to touch my platinum blonde hair. It would creep me out. They were all swarthy Greeks, but surely they had seen children with blonde hair before. I took to running down the halls to avoid them. I had all my meals at the second bell. It was wonderful eating alone. I was watched over by fellow adult passengers, but I could refuse to eat anything I didn't like and have more of what I did like. Isn't that lovely, the freedom of not having my mother with me, being able to eat whatever I liked? Jesus. I mean, she used to torture me, that woman, in many ways. She was a horrible, horrible woman, my mother. I did love her because she was my mother and she's all I knew, but she was a monster in many, many ways. But I defended her when I came to Brisbane and we were falsely accused of being Nazis, I defended her to the hilt, because integrity is everything and honour is everything. By the way, my mother, my monster, was defended and protected by me. The desserts on a ship are amazing. This time it was mostly Greek tiramisu or English puddings. I loved English puddings. I still do love English puddings. There were a lot of English on the ship. The lolly shop sold typical English sweets. I would queue up with the other children. One day, after my mother got out of the ship's hospital and Case renewed his courtship, I asked for 20 cents to buy some lollies. Lollies is candy or sweets, by the way. The English kids called them sweeties, and me coming from New Zealand called them lollies. My mother said she had no money on her, so I looked expectantly at Case. He blushed and flustered. I said, "Surely you can spare 20 cents. My mother looked at him and said, "Yes, surely." He stuffed his hands down his pants and pulled out a 20-cent piece. I said, "Thank you," and ran right away to the lolly shop. When I got there was a queue of mostly English kids waiting for their favourites. There was a flip-top bin nearby. I waited in the queue, always a polite little thing, and observed a little boy in front of me playing on the flip-top rubbish bin with his money, so I thought I would give it a try, always gullible and easily led. So I tapped on it with my hard-won schnorring money. Schnorring is Yiddish for begging, like I'd had to beg for it, right? So it was schnorring money. I mean, you have to laugh. My relationship with money even then was problematic. Well, to my chagrin, the coin slipped from my fingers down into the rubbish bin. The look on my face was newsworthy. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, but I stood aghast. That 20 cents became a value of immense proportions. The little boy saw the look cross my face. He took pity on me. He said, "Go ask your parents for another one. I am sure they won't mind." I said, "You don't understand. Just getting this was like extracting teeth. It was from my mother's new boyfriend. I will never get another one." The kid, wise beyond his years, said, "Go on, give it a shot. They might give it to you." I shrugged in resignation and disbelief. But I ran back to my mother and Case on the deck. I explained that I had lost the 20 cents in the bin and could I please have another one. Mum just smiled. Case set me a baleful stare. "I already gave you 20 cents. "I know, but please, I truly did lose it." "No," he said. "No." My mother said nothing. She wanted to see how I was going to deal with the situation. I dealt with it. I grew very angry. My freckled face bright red with indignation. I didn't do it on purpose. I genuinely lost it in the goddamn bin because I was being pranked by another boy. He shrugged. "Don't swear," he said. He didn't care. So then I grew angrier still. And yes, I've been swearing floridly since I was 4 years old. And every word in my vocabulary and my vernacular I learnt from my own dear parents shrieking at each other every night, including some phraseology that is not suitable for little 4-year-old ears. So don't judge me for my colourful language. It's been that way for 55 years now, and it's going to stay that way, babies. I do try to tone it down in certain company though. I really do. Anyway, he didn't care. So then I grew angrier still. If you don't give me another 20 cents, I will tell the captain that you visit my mother every night in our cabin. There was a stunned silence, followed by several coughs from people who overheard. Even then, I knew how to play to an audience, for a good cause, you understand. His hand very quickly stuffed into his trousers. Here, you brat, here is another one. Now leave us alone. My very first attempt at blackmail. Well, really my only attempt at blackmail. He would laugh and joke for years afterwards to anyone who would listen how Tanya, the Tanya, got her way. But fuck it, I was a good, honest kid. I ran back to the lolly shop. The queue had moved only slightly. The little pommy kid had kept my space. What a nice little boy. I shuffled in behind him. He shoved a 20-cent piece into my hand. Here, now you can buy 2 lots of 20 cents worth of lollies. I stammered in shock. But how did you get it back? I went through the bin, innit? This is where I developed a fetish for Englishmen, by the way. That sweet little boy whose love was real and authentic at that age of my life when I just barely turned 8. I would have been 9. I was still 8. I turned 8 on the ship going to Europe, and we were coming back on the LNEs. That's right. No, I was 8. Anyway, that's when I fell in love with the English at 8 years of age, darlings. Ooh, gross, I replied. I was so surprised, but I didn't spend 40 cents. I bought the original, planned on 20 cents worth, then gave the other one back to Case. I might be a blackmailer, but never a thief. When I told the boy I was going to give it back, he shook his head in dismay. You are mad for sure. He'd never know. I said, I would know, and squared my chin in a Germanic facial expression of determination I had learnt from my mother. Even my mother, not always the most honest of characters where a quid was involved, was proud of me. You are no thief, my Tanya, a blackmailer, but no thief, followed by gales of laughter. Comment. This was in response to an article or a meme I wrote, how awful that his daughter found him out. It was an article about a daughter finding out about her father's infidelity. And I write, I had to deal with that shit with my stepfather when I was 15. He even drove me to meet his new mistress. This is the level of fucked up I was raised by, okay? She owned a beautiful gift shop. I was seriously unimpressed. Another time, my mother asked me to write a scathing poison pen letter to another of his women who lived in Auckland and had been writing how much she enjoyed the chicken and champagne breakfasts. This really upset us, as he was a miserly Dutchman and we were hard-pressed getting food or any extras from him. I used my best English adjectivary on her. She read the letter to him. He didn't speak to my mother or me for a month, like I cared. My mother decided to stay with him. They never married, based on a social worker telling her that at her age, 54, she would lose everything financially and never be able to recoup. So better the devil you know. Later that year, while my mother visited Australia, he threatened to rape me, so I pushed him backwards down the stairs. Bastard. He was a Holocaust survivor, so we made a lot of excuses for him. Too many excuses. It was very traumatic being a teenager in that house, also being a child. We made a weird sort of peace in adulthood, him and I. As he was dying, he insisted I tell the man in the next bed at the hospital that he was my father. I was 30 years old at that time. I was quiet a long time. I still remember I was standing in their hospital room, the man in the bed next to Case, and I just stared out the window with my back to both of them, and the energy in the room was palpable, like you could cut it with a knife. And the man in the bed next to him, he was not fooled. He could see that I really fucking struggled with that. I don't know whether it was some game Case was playing or what was going on, but it was just so fucking awful. I was quiet a long time. He was never my father. Hell, even my father couldn't behave like a proper father to me. He was a member of my family only by the non-virtue of being my mother's partner for 23 years. I wanted to scream and run away, and I bloody well should have, quite frankly, being kind to my monsters of origin. I looked at his friend's eager eyes, probably another abuser and another setup. Then I looked at Case's expression, waiting. So I lied. I said to the man, yes, he is my father. Well, we kind of looked a bit alike, so he could pass for being my father, but he was no father to me. Trust me on that one. The look of relief and triumph on Case's face said it all. They all wanted to claim me, but none could actually parent me, not even then when I was 30. It took me until my mother's death in 2010 to finally speak my authentic truth. None of my family were true, loving family. Not one. Only one of my daughters cares about me, but is ambivalent and now resides in the UK. Well, she's back in Brisbane now, but definitely ambivalent. I lost everything to my abusers. Everything. But I finally got me back. so fuck them all. Smiley face with a wink. Later I wrote, still shattered by David Bowie's passing. I never met him. I never even got to go to any of his concerts. I have still not been to any of my favourite rock idols' concerts. Fuck poverty. He was one of my greatest muses. I love him. Will always love him. The closest I ever got to being at his concert was high in the hills of Brooklyn West. Jasmine was only a few months old, so it was 1987. I had had a long, hard day with the two babies. Jasmine was a screamer. Pardon me. She suffered colic a lot. By the time my husband came home, I was bouncing off the walls and hanging from the chandeliers. I asked him to look after her for a while and deliberately asked him to change her nappy. He had not helped change either child up to that time. He refused. So I grabbed a cigar. I am mostly a non-smoker. Someone gave him, also a non-smoker, and headed down the road. Probably gave him the cigar when we had the baby. You know, like men traditionally, when a man has a baby, they hand you a cigar. It's like, you know, you're the man now. It's kind of a tradition. Anyway, I kept walking and sat on a knoll overlooking the city. I lit up the cigar, contemplating my life, and was rewarded with the sounds echoing over the hills from the Basin Reserve of Ground Control to Major Tom. Yup, get your skates on, kids. I sat there through the remainder of his concert, enthralled. The afternoon, windless, unusual for Wellington, but the sound was splendid. I felt sad that I could only hear him from the distance, my rock god. Then I came home. Michael asked me where I went. I stated, to the David Bowie concert. Perfect sound, perfect night. He looked at me like I had gone mad. He hadn't been able to put the easy disposable nappy on, so had put her in the bath. Useless. But at least she was now clean. I had had a mental health break, and I was ready for the next onslaught of wills. My baby daughter and I. Ground control to Major Tom. I should have fucked off then and there. But where could I have gone without money? No safe place to go, surrounded by monsters at any given time, including his family. That was the worst hell loop of my life, and I don't know how I survived it, by the way. Just found out David Bowie has died. So sad. I love that man. I had a lovely day today. Beauregard was a well-behaved puppy most of the day. Jared came. I just feel like crying. Can you see it? It's tingling underneath my cheekbones. Like, it's a weird sensation. I guess nostalgia and memory. And it's getting humid now that the sun's out again. It was humid before, but it's heating up. The skies are now blue after my complaining about the ugly Soylent Grey. Thank you, Multiverse, blessing us with some sunshine again. It's one thing that's lovely about living in Brisbane, Australia, is most of the time it's blue skies and sunshine, although it's scathing hot. Oh, anyway, where was I? Sorry. Jared came over with Harvey and brought my new fighter fish and set up. It all looks fantastic. We hung in the hammocks listening to Spotify, then cooked dinner. Beef stir fry, veggies, pasta sauce, gluten-free pasta, and because Jared's gluten-free, and I made wedges with Cajun spices, lime and macadamia nuts. Smashed my thumb hammering the shells open, but they are fresh from my tree, so worth it. Beauregard got tired around 11 p.m, so I put him in his crate to sleep. Not even a grizzle. Jared and Harvey have gone home, but Penny is snuggling beside me in bed. Love her to bits. And my friend Ralph O'Connor wrote, imagine having a macadamia tree in the garden. Lucky you, Tanya. Dinner sounded delish. And I replied, it was my dream when we migrated here to own a small macadamia nut plantation. I planted a tree in the marital garden. I meant the marital home garden, just saying. Be a bit weird if I sprouted a macadamia tree from that garden, wouldn't it? Well, we know someone who probably could, but nasty, Tanya, nasty. I was sad to leave behind the beautiful garden I had planted there. When I finally came to this house in 2003, a government house, I began planting an edible landscape and my beautiful roses, and my beloved roses again. But I did not plant the macadamia. It sprouted on its own about 8 years ago. I must have thrown down some overripe nuts with their shells, or maybe a bird dropped it. Now it is in its full glory. This is its second season of nutting. I don't get more than a handful each time, but I still find it thrilling. Mind you, I should gather up the nuts that are out there at the moment. There's a few. 12th of January 2015. In response to Are We All Charlie? No, no, and shamefully no. The Je suis Charlie movement from Paris. What was that? Terrorist attack or something in Paris? I can't even remember what it was about now. Crikey. And I replied, agree, many sellouts, like those who allowed me to be persecuted at the pub for asking for protection on the dance floor, no doubt because I am a Jewish woman. Management did not even have the decency to respond to my complaint. I never thought the Irish would demonise one woman in favour of some Lebanese creep and his girlfriend, especially after I was a loyal customer for over 2 years. They fear me as I speak the truth, fight for my rights and defend other women. Shame on them, motherfuckers. Which is why to this day I will never set foot in that pub again, and I have to actually refrain from the urge to spit every time I walk past it. But never mind. Karma is karma, darling, and hopefully they are still reaping that karma for their viciousness towards not just me, but other women dancers in that pub who they bullied and harassed, and my beautiful friend Christine, that they didn't like because she was loud and eccentric, banned her for no fucking good reason. I mean, it was just awful how they behaved in that pub. Like, they deserve to go broke. I actually hope they go broke one day. I've got a curse on them that they go broke. But pubs very rarely go broke, as we well know. But when they go broke, I'm going to bring all the women that were abused in that pub, and we're going to dance out the front of it and sing R-E-S-P-E-C-T to the top of our voices in jubilation and triumph and glee. And it's a fantasy in my head, but it's something I really look forward to manifesting one day, like my love life. You gotta laugh. But when my love life finally works out with a beautiful, kind, loyal, faithful, devoted, fun, exciting, romantic, passionate, affectionate man who's generous to me. Did I mention loving? There will be great jubilation too. You will hear my jubilant shrieks echo out across all dimensions. That's how lovely it will be to finally find the one. Watching the peace rally in France and London with amazement and pride. 1 million people have rallied for freedom and unity. The people are speaking out. About time. I visited Crystal the Savo. We watched 2 lovely movies and had dinner together. On the way home, I parked in the city and took Harvey for a walk across the river. It rained. It was lovely though. When we got back to the car, I towel-dried him with my picnic rug, which is a giant round towel. He loved it. He was very intrigued by the bunnies also. As a Jack Russell, we didn't let him play with them, but he did touch noses with Ramon through the fencing, lol. I wish my battery hadn't been dead, or I would have filmed him. I noticed that word also, but illumine means to shine or highlight, so I think this meme is twisting his meaning rather conveniently. I don't have the meme there anymore, so I don't even know what I'm referencing, but it was a YouTube video. French president says on national TV that the Illuminati is attacking Paris. Right. So that's what that was about. You can tell I'm tired. I'm disappearing from behind my eyes. I'll have to have a nap later if I want to go dancing tonight. Because my dancing is intense cardio exercise for 3 hours of solid boltering and moshing, and I won't have the energy if I don't sleep this afternoon. I won't be able to pull it off. And my beautiful men alter egos are playing tonight, and I look forward to seeing them again. I see them every fortnight. The other week I see Ramjet, so it's all good, darlings. It's all very, very good. Playing raunchy truth or dare with my Paltalkians. Oh my, what a crack up. Don't know whose idea that was, but anyway. 4:40 a.m, finally in bed with little Harvey. I hope I sleep well. 12th of January 2014. Holy doolies. Woke up at 9 a.m. feeling supercharged mentally. Bright as a shiny new pin and just as sharp. Oh my gosh, could do with that again. I rang that creature whose name is redacted because I hate that bitch. Now, I hate that bitch, but in those days I used to love her and I was a true friend to her, by the way. What a dickhead I was. To make sure she was okay. She was still recovering from her eye surgery. She was so shocked to hear from me so early after my big night out, so I came over to take her shopping at Carindale for an outing. My eyes are a bit sore from lack of sleep, but boy, I feel great. If this is hypomania, I'm loving it. Pardon me. Menopause is doing me the power of the goddess and or crone. Good. I was hoping to meet some nice men last night. Well, I did, sorta. But I thought they were with women. But the women left, and at the end of the night, the guys told me as they were leaving, "The band is awesome," and held my gaze. Laughing my ass off, they thought I was a groupie. Well, I am, but I don't sleep with the musos. I just dance and enjoy their music and raise energy in the crowd. A kind of symbiosis. No wonder I am not meeting any men, since they all think I am in relationship with the bands. Funny as hell. 5:03 a.m. Home from a night out dancing. Ramjet was playing at Irish Murphy's, but there wasn't as big a crowd as usual. odd vibe. I went to the casino and danced for a short while there, then back to Irish Murphy's. After that, oh, look, I'm smelling this beautiful aroma. My neighbour Timsa, who's on this side of me, cooks the most beautiful curries during the day. He must cook early in the day, and he once explained it to me that a lot of the spices and things need to marinate, sometimes for up to 12 or 24 hours. So he cooks it during the day, and I get this, I think I can smell tamarind and ginger. Oh, it just smells so beautiful. I've never partaken of any of his meals, but oh my God, they smell beautiful. He should open up a restaurant. I told him that once, he just stared at me. But no, his food smells absolutely gorgeous. And it's drifting across this way, which is unusual. Must be the direction the wind's blowing in and coming in through my open window. It's like, if you had smell-o-vision, people, right now, it's just so fragrant, absolutely fragrant. His the spices he uses. Anyway, where was I? After that, I hung out with George, the busker, and the homeless guy who always sits with him in the night. They were both happy to see me. I went back into the casino, not much doing there, then came home. My cat is delighted to see me. She and I will go snuggle soon. I feel quite tired. I had a nice time. Earlier in the evening, Creature from the Black Lagoon took me and her friend John out for a Chinese dinner. It was delicious. We had a huge meal. She really spoiled me. And no, it would have been John that spoiled me, since he probably paid. She used to lie about that she paid for things. The fucking creep. Anyway, thank you to her friend John. I vaguely remember he was a lovely man. He was gay, very handsome, but gay. But yeah, he must have been one of her subbies, right? But anyway, we had a lovely meal together, and it was a very nice time. So credit where it's due. Even though she turned out to be a stinking, treacherous, filthy cunt of a thing, at that point in time we were enjoying a nice friendship. 12th of January 2012. I received a manipulative, threatening letter from Sonia Shearer, which I sent straight to my lawyer. The upshot of this is that we will go to court early February to have her removed as executrix and have the public trustee take over the reins. I will be much happier with that outcome. Mum's house will then be sold and the assets divided by the public trustee. So all will be over, I expect, sometime this year, which would have been a much fairer outcome. I don't know how that got interfered with or stymied. I mean, it was just, that whole will dispute was just a seeping putrescence and filth and treachery, worse than the Creature from the Black Lagoon's rotting chlamydiac loins, by the way. Ho-hum, hungry tum, blah mood, tired and vexed. Had a lovely day yesterday, and the lovely swims were my mind savers. I realised I get very aggressive and irritable with the constant heat, so cooling off in bodies of water is what I needed the most. Wish I could afford to buy my house and put in a swimming pool. Currently watching the most gorgeous purple and orange sunset. Something worth seeing this evening. And thus concludes today's readings of my journal entries and my musings on life, love, and the Australian way. And yes, I'm very tired today. I was very tired yesterday too. But I'm not ill per se. I'm not sick. I don't have COVID, I don't think. I'm just run down from nights and nights of my bladder activity and not getting enough sleep, I suppose. I did sleep better last night, but I had so little sleep the night before that I'm actually playing catch up, and I can feel my brain completely fucking melting and defragmenting. It's not good, people. If this keeps up, I will get Alzheimer's or dementia. It's asking for trouble. It really is. So anyway, the medication, the new script being filled out for the new medication is impending. Probably arrive by Tuesday if they posted it today. I hope they didn't forget it. And I'm sure they didn't forget. They're professionals, right? If they forget, I'll have to chase it up next week. And I'll hopefully start improving with my health, and I can be less disassociative and disintegrated mentally from my videos, at least. Anyway, love to you all. Have a beautiful day. Sun's shining again, although it's still cloudy in Brisbane, Australia. And wherever you are on planet Earth, always take the weather with you and enjoy your very best version of your very best self, however you choose to manifest that in this moment, and sending love and blessings. Have a beautiful day, night, afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are in the space-time continuum. And much love from the Tanya and Charlie at Sacred Space. Bye for now.